Get ready with me where I tell you guys how I started my small business 8 years ago. So it all started when I got Jib when we first moved to Utah, actually using e.l.f. Setting powder because I have pretty oily eyelids. Asians, you know, we have oily eyelids. We were at the pet store and we were just getting his dog gear for him, you know, like a collar, a harness. I couldn't give him anything beforehand because I wasn't sure how big he was gonna be. But when we got him at 8 weeks, he was 8 pounds. I remember because every single week he got bigger according to how old he was, age-wise. So I was at in Draper, Petco, and I was just like, okay, let's get him a collar, a leash, let's get him a collar, a leash, and, you know, call it a day, hoping that I find something cute for him. I think this is a Korean brand, Halika, warm tones, because I have a warm undertone. We were inside, and I just couldn't find anything cute for him, and this vacuum was just really annoying having to vacuum right now, so I might just have to pause for a second. Okay, just close the door. Anyway, I have these patches here, so that way it can hydrate while I do my makeup. I have it under my eye because I have like a line right there, and then I'll like put it in different spots throughout. Petco, I think, and I was looking for something that could match his personality. You know, he was a really cute golden retriever, old looking. If you guys haven't seen pictures of him, like, he does not look like a golden retriever puppy. Like, I have never seen a golden retriever puppy look like that. He looked like a scraggly old man. I was so surprised. Like, but I didn't know because it was my first like big dog, first golden retriever. So I was standing there and I was just like, there isn't anything. So I ended up buying, you know, like rough wear because that was all there was at that time. Like, know that was like 8 years ago and the market has changed a lot since. So I think that's just what we went with. No, we didn't. We went with that brand called Puppia. Do you guys remember those? They're like really soft, lightweight, like really not meant for big dogs at all. But it was okay for Jib at the time. I have a picture of him in my profile when I did a social media post. I can't remember which one it was, but it's in there. But anyway, and then we got a collar. I can't remember what collar it was. It was just like some plain nylon blue to match his harness. It was just really boring. Disclaimer, I am horrible at makeup and I'm still learning how to do that. That was not the start of Wildside yet. At that time, I actually had another business. It was called Wildside Photography, which is hacked right now. If anyone gets anything from me, it's not me. I still have to figure out how to get that back from Instagram. But I don't know if any of you guys remember Wildside pet photography. I really enjoyed photography, but I've gotten so lazy in the past few years with the iPhones. But I recently started getting better with doing photos again, especially for products, because I feel like that was a big part of the reason why I've had some failed years, because I got lazy. So anyway, moving forward, we got Millie. We actually didn't plan on getting Millie because we are, you know, like new dog parents, and we just wanted to see how things went with Jib. I can't remember how old Jib was at this point, maybe like 9 months, and the breeder had called us and said that I have a dog that's supposed to go to New York City, and I don't feel comfortable for her to go to New York City because she said the owner works a lot, so the puppy would be home by herself for a while. And, you know, with getting a new dog, the typical protocol is usually, you know, like stay home with them for a couple of weeks to get them acclimated to your new home, right? And we both worked from home at the time, so it worked out well for Jib. So like I said, we had no plans of getting another golden retriever, and she was like, you know, I thought of you guys, maybe you would think about, you know, adding to your family. And we talked it over, and we were like, okay, we're doing this, you know, we're getting another dog. So we met her, we drove down to Fillmore, where we got Jib. Fillmore, down south, because she lives somewhere else down south. And we met her at the gas station Maverick. So much like stories at that gas station and puppies for some reason. So we pick up Millie, we meet her for the first time, and she has been like spicy since day one. She was this, you would not believe it, but she was a really chunky puppy. Like, she really looked like a golden retriever, and you would not believe how big she was. I have to pull some pictures up. And she is food motivated. She's food obsessed. That has never changed since day one of getting her. I clearly remember because we brought Jib with us that day. And let's see. This is what I'm using. So another thing is oily eyelids, girly. I can only use specific eyeliners and mascaras because my eyes get extremely oily and just everything smudges. So this is the Clio brand, Korean brand. And I've been obsessed with using just like dark brown eyeliner. I stopped using black eyeliner because I feel like black just makes your eyes smaller. Anyway, so we get Millie. We went and met Millie. And oh my gosh, like, it was so funny. She took Jib's leash and just started walking him. She just like walked him around the little yard that was like grass patch at the gas station. It was like the funniest thing. Anyway, I am missing eyelashes here because I was doing my eye mascara like a long time ago when I was in high school, and my dog had jumped on me when I had the curler. Part of my eyelashes was just gone. It never came back. Anyway, so I would say, you know, we fell in love with Millie and we said yes, and we'll keep her. And then I think like a couple of months later when she got her checkup and everything, we did not know that she had really bad hip dysplasia in both of her hips. I was very devastated. This was actually pointed out by Sam's mom when we were at the beach trip. So I guess, because I remember we took her to Arizona when she was maybe like 6 months, because we had visited Sedona in her little purple harness that we had gotten her. And that was kind of like the whole start of Wildside, and how like purple is Millie's like signature color. That's why I created the Mount Millie harness. And one day when we were at the beach house, Sam's mom was like, have you guys ever noticed like Millie's gait? Is that what it's called? Gat. It was really off. She's like, she's walking kind of funny and it just doesn't seem normal. And we're just like, no, we never noticed, because, you know, we're new big dog owners. So that didn't really like occur to us or anything like that. And we just kind of like said, okay, well, we'll figure it out when we get home. And I remember like it was closer to winter time after we went to the beach house, like in September, and we went to the field because it snowed, and we just could tell like her and Jib was running, but we could tell that something was wrong. Like, she started like limping and she was just slower, and she's a really fast dog. She's really driven. She's super fast when she runs. She can always outrun like any dog. So we took her to the vet, and I think they referred us to a specialist. His name is Dr. Bagley at Cottonwood Animal Hospital, and we love him because he's been Millie's ortho doctor since day one. And he was the one that operated on her. When we took her to go see Dr. Bagley, he was like, yeah, she's got really bad hip dysplasia in both hips, and we would need to operate on her. I mean, he gave us a few options. We can do like, what's that one? I forgot the name of the surgery that she had. I may put it on the screen if I can remember later after recording. But he was like, yeah, she's got really bad hip dysplasia. We can get her operated now since she's a puppy. And chances are the recovery will be so much better for her because, you know, she's more resilient and puppies do heal pretty fast with recovery and all. So we opt for the surgery on both of the hips, but the surgery was performed at 2 different times, but back to back. So this kind of explains why she is a little bit reactive too, because she lost a lot of her puppy socialization as well. During the surgeries, she couldn't do her puppy social Saturdays. She couldn't do daycare. She couldn't do a lot. So we did her surgeries, and I swear it was like my worst like cry like ever. When we dropped her off. I remember I was like screaming. I was yelling. I was just so scared. You know, anytime you drop your pet off for anything, you know. Anyway, she did her surgery. I was sitting by the phone like a hawk that day, and the surgery just went well. Surgery went well, and they put, I can't remember, is it 24 pins or 12 pins in each leg. During the first surgery, we went to go see her, and I was just heartbroken to see her like that. Her whole hip was shaved, and she had this giant scar with staples going up, and you know, she was so happy to see us, and we were just so happy to see her. And I remember we took her home the next day, or I can't remember, it was the same day that we could take her home. But she already had stayed one night there, and she was ready to go. Like right when she walked out the door, like we had a sling on her, she was just like, I'm ready to go. Like I'm ready to go for a walk. You know, Millie's just always really driven, and that's my MMO. So when she got home, we had to set up a pen, like a station for her. We had to set up a station for her so that way we could keep an eye on her, so she's not roughhousing with Jib, because, you know, that would have been bad if she busted her stitches, and she couldn't move a lot. So we both also like took turns to sleep with her in her little pen that we made her. Her little area had like a crate there, and it had like yoga mats, crate, yoga mats, lots of towels, lots of blankets for her. It was enough for us to sleep in there with her. So, you know, like I said, we took turn to stay with her until she was able to leave the crate, because we didn't want her to feel alone. Okay, so now I'm getting these cheek wrinkles here, and just keeps them hydrated. This is just like hyaluronic acid pads to help you retain moisture. Anyway, and then I put that on my forehead later, so that way, you know, I get these little lines. So the recovery was a little difficult because she wasn't able to do a lot, and it was just sad to see her in that condition. And I know like Jib was, you know, wondering like what was going on with her. And after her recovery, do you guys keep like little alcohol pads to wipe your little eyelash thing? I always do, because I feel like it always removes my eyeshadow if I have anything on it. Okay. And I also have to use an Asian curl eyeliner or curler, because my eyes are more flat. They have no dimension, So this is like that too. So it actually helps me curl all of my lashes. So a couple of months after, or weeks after Millie's surgery, after she was done, gotten her checkups and everything, Dr. Bagley gave her the clear to move forward with her second surgery, because right now we're kind of like close to her age of getting older. So right now we're kind of like, we've gotten off subject. Millie, just talking about my dogs, I just get off subject. Anyway, so I think like after her second surgery, that was when I started, oops, and this is the Holy Grail mascara that I use for summertime in Hong Kong, for anywhere I travel, for snowboarding. Does not budge. This is Japanese. It's called Heroin. You guys probably seen it. I'll link all the products that I know that are on Amazon below. I'm not sure if this is going to be a YouTube video or a social media video. It's quite long. But anyway, so that was when I started kind of like dabbling in pet photography. Oh no, I already had done pet photography. That was when I started doing felt flowers. I started making felt flowers. No, I didn't. I already had made felt flowers, right? Okay, so I can't totally remember, but I know I was making felt flowers for the dogs, but somehow I had transitioned into learning how to sew on a sewing machine to make my first dog collars for them. And I still remember the design. It was like a paisley print that I got from Hobby Lobby, probably. Hobby Lobby. And I just got the rest of the stuff at Hobby Lobby, like in the sewing section. So they were probably stuff to make like handbags, because handbag hardware is somewhat similar to dog collars. So I bought some stuff there, started making dog collars. I started learning, like just Googling and YouTubing like how people made the dog collars and what kind of material they use, like webbing in between and the interfacing which you put behind the fabric. And started making those. My first collar was so ugly. Oh my gosh, I still have pictures of it. And they were wearing that collar. But somehow, like just throughout the years, months after that, I just did not like how they looked, like how they felt. I'm just like, I don't really like a fabric collar on a big dog. I'm just thinking about like how they always rolled around, or like when they went swimming, like, and it took forever to dry because there's so many layers to it. I just started doing more research, and I finally found a company that prints webbing. And this company does webbing also for, I don't know if they do climbing stuff too, but mostly like probably pets, horses, stuff like that. So I got some webbing samples. I just ordered some of the stuff off their website with their designs on it. And I actually launched a collection with that. I still remember like one of the most popular prints, you guys may remember. It's the one that looked like galaxy looking, like purple and like teal color on it. I still remember that being a pretty best seller. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then after that, I started testing hardware. I'm like, okay, now, so I have this like webbing that's going to be pretty, like resilient and water resistant. Like what else can I do now? So let's go try to improve hardware, so that way it doesn't rust in water. So it took me a lot of ordering, of just testing different types of materials, like different types of like metal. And then I finally land on next, I'm using color corrector. This is another Korean brand. Don't know how to say it, the Siam. And that is the start of me using stainless steel. And I just remember I'm like, oh, I'm really happy with this. And several years later, I'm still using stainless steel. Pretty expensive. And then I also started printing my own webbing, like designs. I wasn't great at designing, still not great at it. So I was just buying like designs off Etsy with like a commercial license to use them. So I still remember my first printed batch of custom webbing that we had offered. And then that was kind of like the start of the signature items that we have today, which is the rust-proof dog collars and dog leashes, which has evolved a lot over times as well, with like different manufacturers, different type of hardware too, because stainless steel is great, but it is on the heavier side, which is still fine for big dogs. But you know, if anytime that you can go light, you want to go light if you can, just more convenient. So we started printing, I started designing more, started teaching myself how to like manipulate images, like even images I bought off of Etsy, that I would start like changing colors and just adding other elements to them, and just kind of like working around things. You know, when you don't know certain things, you just always find a workaround. And I think that's just being part of an entrepreneur. You just always kind of find a way. When there's a will, there is a way. You're just snappy. You just always think on your feet. And then later, I started learning to design. I bought a Procreate iPad and started trying to teach myself how to draw, which I did a little bit, but I'm still not great at it. So I do what I can, and when I have time, I will sit down and learn how to do and how to draw certain things. So I have a few projects right now I'm thinking about for the summer, which is like, I don't want to tell you guys yet. So I'm learning how to figure out how to draw those for the summer, spring collection. So that way, you know, I don't have the same designs as somebody else. I used to run into that problem when I used to get fabric at Joann's, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and stuff like that. So basically, that's kind of how I got started. Inspiration of my dogs, designs. All of our designs are always inspired by all the adventures we take together. They all have a story. Like our whole Outer Banks collection, that is based on going to the Outer Banks with our family. It's our annual trip that we take every single year with the dogs, and Tahoma was able to go on that too. For his first trip with us when we first got him, that is also why we have the collection Tahoma Peak, because I wanted to design something for him. This was actually started before we even got him, and the design started with the first photo that I saw of him that Kathleen from Golden's Without Borders, I can't remember, but it shut down after she passed away shortly after we adopted Tahoma, and she was just such an amazing person rescuing dogs from China. So yeah, so back to that design that was designed for Tahoma, because the first picture they sent me was him in a field, a very green field in Canada, and he is just this fluffy guy. He looked well over 100 pounds in the photos, and that's just, the green reminded me of him, the sun for happiness, and the mountains for the challenges that he went through to get here. He was from the meat trade. Anyway, so that's kind of how Wildside started, 8 years ago, if you guys remember going down memory lane, starting with the felt flowers with the Cricut machine, and then just kind of graduating and promoting myself to sewing, teaching myself how to sew, and then breaking tons of sewing machine because I have to sew through so many layers, thick layers. Finally got a industrial machine that just sat in my studio for like the longest time because I was so scared to use it because it was such a massive machine. But now it's like easy peasy most of the time. So yeah, that's just kind of how I started, and here we are, still 8 years, done a ton of struggles, ups and downs. I wouldn't say I've only been able to pay myself like once in the past like 8 years. I mean like 1 year or something like that out of the all 8 years. Unfortunately, the economy has been like so bad. So bad the past few years for me, and I'm still trying to figure things out, and hopefully I don't have to end up having to close later on this year. So if you know of anyone, friends and family that really enjoys, you know, quality dog gear, if you can just share with them our link to our really durable dog gear that we offer for bigger dogs, like maybe a golden retriever dog parent, just anybody with a active dog. And we have tons of dog parents, dogs too, that are not super active. They just use it for every day, but they appreciate the designs. If you can share that too, that would be amazing. I will be forever grateful. I really want to keep my shop open for all the people that believes in us, believes in me. When I say us, it's me, my husband, and my dog. So anyway. So that is it. I hope I didn't really bore you to death. I know that was really long. Maybe I'll do one in Cantonese next time.